Thanks to The Last of Us Day, Naughty Dog and HBO decided to drop a new trailer for the very highly anticipated The Last of Us. Oh, I can't wait. We just got a teaser trailer, I want to say like a month ago. So it's nice that we get a more full-length trailer. This show alone has me wanting to replay the original. Oh, clickers. Oh, shit. If you played the games, you already know that this is going to be a very, very intense journey. That must have been Riley.
This is your chance.
Bill, okay.
And you said everything right.
Oh, shit, dude. Singing in live action looks insane.
Save who you can save.
I'm assuming that voice must be Tess from the game. Holy moly, guys. The Last of Us coming in 2023. What's going on, beautiful people? We just got our first real trailer for the upcoming The Last of Us. And while there isn't a lot shown and it is relatively a brief trailer, there's a lot that we can take from it. And I was seeing a lot of moments from the game brought to life here. And I can't tell you just how happy this trailer made me. So we're going to go through it, break it all down, and frame by frame, honestly, because I'm so hyped about this. And I'm just really excited to share in this excitement with you guys. So let's do it. So obviously we start off the trailer. HBO is making this series, which I gotta say off the jump, I wasn't necessarily sure about this. But given the success of some of, HBO's recent shows like Euphoria, I'm very excited for them to be bringing a live adaptation to one of the most beloved series of all time. Now, after seeing The Last of Us, I want them to make a Red Dead Redemption show. Like, are you kidding me? To see John Marston and the whole gang alive and well in live action would be absolutely insane. But we're moving on. Obviously, in the trailer, you see report signs of cordyceps infection. If you don't know, if you haven't played the game, the cordyceps infection is what is the infection that is turning people into, infected, into zombies and shit. So this is very much in line with the game, which we could have expected, but it's, I'm bringing this all to your attention. And I know some of it may seem redundant if you played the game like 4 times, like I have. Some of it may seem redundant, but it's very important, and it's beautiful to see it in live action as opposed to in the game. So I like how it gives you symptoms, and in a world where, we're coming off of like the COVID pandemic and stuff like that, it is very much, it's almost too real in a way to be watching the show. And I think it's what's going to allow people to connect with it even more, because we kind of dealt with this whole thing on a much smaller scale. Obviously people weren't turning into infected, but it was still, a big deal and widespread. So this show's going to be too real. So coughing, slurred speech, muscle spasms, mood change, all can be related to the cordyceps infection. So it's really cool to see this kind of like real world building happening here. And then as we move on, you can see people painting over the firefly emblem, the firefly symbol. If you guys, like I said, if you haven't played the game, the fireflies are a group of kind of, I guess you can consider them a group of rebels. I always thought they were the good guys, to be honest with you. They may be a little extreme in some cases, but they are kind of a group of lowly survivors that form this group called the Fireflies, where they're trying to find their own way with the scientists that they have to find a cure for the cordyceps infection. And so they're obviously at odds with, I believe, the government, I think, something like that. Or you know what, it's been a while since I played the game. Okay. But all I remember is that the Fireflies were the good guys, in my opinion. They did some kind of shady business, but for the most part, their heart was in the right place. Desperate times call for desperate measures, Oh, here, as you can see, I love this little element here. I'm very excited to see Pedro Pascal, but at the beginning of the original Last of Us, his daughter mentions that he has a broken watch. And obviously you can allude to many different foreshadowing things that will happen in the game, that this watch potentially foreshadows. But all in all, she gets him a new watch for his birthday. which was really a beautiful scene and a great start to the game. So it's really beautiful to see that this is kind of being brought into the picture as well. Pedro Pascal really looking like he's targeting the character of Joel. Joel is kind of a gritty guy. He's a guy that has experienced incredible amounts of loss. And throughout the course of the first game, he is not only desperate, but also determined at the same time to ensure that he finds success in his mission. Obviously, that mission is to escort Ellie to the Fireflies, because Ellie potentially has an opportunity within her to save the entire human race. So Joel experiences a lot in the game. And I love how that's kind of foreshadowed, that goes right into the next scene of when you're lost in the darkness. It's kind of insane. Now, I don't know what this is. I would assume these are Ellie's shoes because we did just see a frame of her. I'm assuming this is in the same building. This could potentially be later in the game when she's kidnapped by those crazy people who I think are going to like try to eat her. Or it could be the beginning of the game where she's kind of held captive by the Fireflies, because they kind of know who she is and what her ability is before Joel even does. So this is obviously taking place. If you see this is one of my favorite missions in the game, where it's the downpour rain mission, and Joel, Ellie, and Tess all have to make their way through the city that is obviously occupied by the military, and have to make their way through. And one of the scenes in the game is when you're going through the tunnels to try to make your way underneath all of the soldiers. And this is just after they find out why she's so important, why she's so special. So it's kind of they really are showing that they're taking it straight from the game, which is incredible. And this is that exact city that I was telling you guys about. This exact city right here is where they're trying to make their way through as they progress down their journey to, I think they're trying to make it to the capital at this moment in the game. So yeah, it's really cool to see it in live action, honestly. And they go inside this building, and this building ends up being one of the most intense moments in the entire game, especially so early on, because there's a lot that they have to contend with. And you really learn a lot about the infected. You learn a lot about the clickers. It's kind of insane. This moment right here, I don't know. I believe this is Bill. I would assume this is Bill. I'm not sure. Obviously, you're seeing, some more images about the death that's happening. Get your first image at a real life clicker. I've only ever seen them in the game, so to even see a glimpse of them in live action has me even more scared, knowing just how dangerous they are and how much is at stake when you hear them. Like, you really cannot make any sounds, and it's gonna be intense, man. It's gonna be a very intense show. I don't know how long the show is gonna be, given the length of the game, like where they're gonna break it up, if it's just gonna be one season. But hey, I mean, I'm down for that. Obviously, you see them on the carousel. I would assume this is Riley. This is Riley from the game. They have the whole beautiful carousel scene in the Left Behind DLC. And so, yeah, I like to see that these moments are going to be coming to life. Even moments that seem as small as this are pretty big moments in the game that really flesh out Ellie as a character, how she became who she became, and why, what her motivations are. So it's going to be really beautiful to see these relationships form in real time in a live action format. And obviously you can see that this is, I would assume I'm assuming the show is going to take place in exactly the same position as the game. And so you're seeing this is, I believe, in Texas, when the whole breakout is really starting to happen, and he's carrying Sarah after the car crash that happens at the beginning of the game. The whole state is in ruin. Everybody's just trying to get out of there. It's absolute madness. In this scene, I want to point to this too. I believe this is the first time we get our look at Bill, which I'm very, very excited by, because he's played by one of my favorite actors. Obviously, many of you may know him from Parks and Rec. I most recently know him. He just had a role in the Peacock original series, The Resort. He was absolutely incredible there. And so, yeah, I'm very excited to see him getting more work in more roles, and roles specifically like this with such a beloved character. Bill is kind of a badass. If you haven't seen the show or played the game, Bill is he's next level. So he's definitely going to be a bit more intense. You can see the brutality is being brought back of Joel. Joel is he's kind of an unhinged character at times, kind of insane. I would assume this horseback scene that we're seeing right here, I would assume this is when they're making their way to Seattle. That's my assumption. Or it could be everyone that's living, Joel's brother, and everyone that kind of lives in the beginning, in their kind of sanctuary area before it gets under attack. Ellie being a badass, Tess, I would assume this moment right here, I would assume this is in the Capitol. Tess realizes that she's been infected, and so she's making her kind of last stand there in that moment. So, and then we get and then it pans right to, I believe this is the snowy scene at the end, towards the end of the game, when Joel finally finds his way to Ellie after everything that's kind of been happening, which is going to be absolutely insane. And then all of that leads to a real crazy looking close-up. Holy moly, can I get this right? A real crazy close-up at a clicker, and it looks very accurate in relation to what we've seen in the games. Like, clickers are some ugly mofos, and so to see them, you know, in real time is going to be insane. Absolutely insane. So overall, for the most part, I'm hoping to continue to see the growing relationship between Joel and Ellie in the beginning of the game, you know, in the show, just like we see in the game. And it seems like they're really taking this to heart. The Last of Us is absolutely, undoubtedly one of my favorite games of all time. And I played it a number of times, and I enjoy it. I enjoy it every time I get to play it. It's an incredible game, and the castings for this show prove that they've really taken it to heart, you know, the elements and the love that people have for this. I think Pedro Pascal is an incredible choice for Joel, and I'm very excited to see the life that he brings into this character, as well as Ellie, as well as Tess, Bill. I can't wait to see this show come into fruition. I don't know how long it's going to be. Obviously, The Last of Us is just one game. I'm not sure how they're going to split this up, or if they're just going to try to knock the whole show out in one season. If it's like a kind of a short series, limited series. I would love to see the story have its own progression. I would love for them to dive into events that happened before, that happened after the first game, because we know that the second game takes place, I think, a few years after the events of the first. So it would be really nice to see them kind of dive into some nuanced moments that we don't really see between the first and second game, but that's just my guess. I hope that this is a multi-season show, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But I'm very excited for it. 2023, we're going to get The Last of Us, and I cannot wait. But let me know what you guys think of the trailer. Are you excited for this series? Let me know why down in the comment section below. If you're new here, please subscribe to the channel. Drop a like in this video, as it greatly helps out. And I can't wait to share in more trailers with you guys. But that's all for me. Thank you so much for watching this trailer breakdown for one of my most highly anticipated shows next year, The Last of Us, and I can't wait to share more with you guys. But until then, my name's That Guy Rye, and thank you so much for watching.